Hi everybody, Jack O'Malley here with my update for Wednesday. Again, just a reminder, I think for the rest of June here, July and August, we'll go to one update a week. As things are slowing down, it's summertime, hopefully you're getting out and being distracted, playing golf, riding a bike, sitting on your porch, whatever it is. And we need to just relax and let our hair down, so to speak, a little bit after this whole COVID last year and a half. So I think people are going to be distracted, so I'll update you once a week. And a couple things I want to touch on tonight is, if you keep watching the numbers, our COVID infection rate is down, our deaths are down. Again, slowly, more people are getting vaccinated. Our herd immunity is getting up there. I think we're in pretty good shape, and we need to stay diligent. I know there's talk about variants and things. We'll deal with that as we come. Right now, let's stay focused on the fact that we're coming through out on the other side. And like I said, it's summertime. We need to just kind of relax and forget about a lot of things and just be smart and hug our families again, right? I've talked to people who are seeing families and friends that they haven't seen in over a year. That's a good thing. Also, last week, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously that the State Board of Canvassers have to certify the Unlock Michigan petitions, and that's got to go through a process. I don't know exactly, not a lengthy process, but a process that they have to meet and do that. I'm assuming as soon as that bill gets to us, we'll pass it through and send it to the Senate, and we will repeal that 1945 law. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why we need to repeal that, but just remember, we attempted to repeal that by way of legislation, and the governor, who was the one who abused it, vetoed it. So this is really the best way, the quickest way. The governor can't veto it, and we move forward. Now, there is a process by the Unlocked Michigan people who are going to attempt to do the same thing, but with a ballot petition that would say the Department of Health and Human Services can't do more than a 28-day emergency order without getting legislative approval. I'm for that as well. We had passed that legislation through up to the governor, and she vetoed it. So that we'll see if they can get the signatures, and we'll go from there. I wanted to spend some time today talking about the child care package that we rolled out yesterday. And, I was reading some of the comments on the press release and things like that from people who, why are you doing this? Child care is this. We just took care of our kids ourselves, and et cetera, et cetera. I get that. But here's the problem, as I see it, and why I have tried to champion this. When I was knocking doors as a candidate, I heard over and over and over from my constituents that child care is a problem. So I'm like, okay. So I started asking questions, and I think I did what a representative's supposed to do. I started asking questions of all kinds of groups, all kinds of individuals, and said, where are we at with this? And I learned a lot. And some of the things you need to realize that why this isn't like it was 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago is because the state continues to add regulations and rules. Part of that is because the state has always wanted to be safe. We want our children safe. Of course we want our children safe, but we want children safe, so let's add this regulation, right? And I call it the bad actor rule. What happens is somebody's a bad actor, they do something foolish, child gets hurt. They change the rules. There's 5,000 daycares, one of them does something wrong, they change the rules at all of them, which now creates more burden on our child care providers. Now, we have two types of child care providers in this state. You have the in-home, my infamous name of Susie Smith in-home, and then you've got centers, daycare centers. They're bigger, they have staffs and that sort of thing. So when we talk about in-home and centers, they're same, obviously, child care, but they're different. The vast majority of rural Michigan, my district, is in need of in-home providers. Why? Because little communities don't have enough population to have centers. Centers are generally around the bigger communities because there's more people, right? So over these last 20 or 30 years, so this is to the answer to that person, well, I didn't have a problem 30 years ago. Why can't people take care of children now? Because over those 30 years, there have been so many rules, so many regulations, that it has gotten ridiculously cost prohibitive for Susie Smith to run her small business out of her home and make a profit, right? And so people have gotten out of the business. There are deserts, childcare deserts in part of the state where there really isn't any, all right? And the daycare providers that are there, we have limits on the amount of children that they can hold, which makes sense. I'm not arguing that. So here's our problem. What do we do about it? Because whether you like it or not, reality is reality. We need affordable housing, we need good jobs, and we need our young families to have daycare so that they can have their children safe while they're at work. It's simple, but yet it's hard. So we've got these 8 bills, which I won't necessarily go into right now. We've got the committee process yet to come, but they are good bills. They are streamlining some of that legislation. We're trying to get that COVID money. Several of these bills help focus that federal money to where it's supposed to be and can help get our daycare people back. We've lost about 50% of our daycare capacity over the last 10 or 12 years. And we need to bring some of those people back. We need to get people back into the business. We've got to help people who get into this business because they're Susie Smiths of the world who are not Fortune 500 companies. They're running a business generally out of their home, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Who's there to help them? You got Lara, DHHS, and Department of Education all running this. That's a monolithic group that Susie Smith is dealing with. So we move forward and we're trying to help these people. That's why we're doing it. All right. So I don't expect everybody to understand every element of this, but that's why we're doing it. Now, let's touch on something else because this is an important part of it. I read some of the comments. The governor of the state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, was there yesterday and she's in support of these bills. Jack, how could you stand next to that woman? Well, I'll tell you how. I get it that I'm not a big fan of Governor Whitmer. I'm not. And if anybody pays attention in her administration, they know that. But as I've talked about many a time on this very podcast, in Lansing, you need 56, 20, and 1. 56 representatives to agree to a bill, 20 senators, and 1 governor. So, this package that I've been spearheading, I can get 56 representatives. Maybe I can get 20 senators. But if I don't have that 1, what did I just talk about? The laws we had sent, the bills we had sent to the governor who she vetoed them, right? So now we need the Unlock Michigan petitions. That's what I'm talking about. So you bet I cannot stand with the governor on lots and lots and lots of issues. But on this one, I need the 1. And so I accept that help. Now, you can say, Jack, you're terrible for standing with her. You've changed sides. You're a terrible person. You're not a Republican. No, I'm a legislator who's representing my district. And my district has told me we need childcare. So I am working for my district and my people, and I'll do what I need to get that governor's signature, right? And if she wants to stand next to us on this package of bills, she brings a lot of Democrats along with her that might not have been there before. So, trust me, I understand the emotional of all of this. I really do. But yet, here in Lansing, and this is the part of politics I don't think people really want to understand, or if they do, they get emotional and they don't want to hear it. Sometimes you got to work with somebody who you might not necessarily agree with or like, but you know on this one I got to work with them. It's called compromising. And I think when I hear people talk about when George Bush Sr. died, what did I hear? Oh, that was a time that we've lost, where people were, reasonable and people were civil to each other. Try to be civil to get a job done. Something that your constituents asked you to do. And that's what I'm doing. All right. So that's it for Wednesday. All right. We'll be back next week. We'll update you as to things go. But we're moving forward, and we'll see what happens with the budget. I know that's still being discussed. Our schools are still hoping that we can get at least their budget done by July 1st. We'll see what we can do. But that's where we're at. All right. And I'll keep you informed and talk to you next week. Until then, enjoy summer. Bye-bye.